and some more people can trickle in and join as they can. But welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for YLC's first or second now virtual project fair. We had a really great time doing one earlier today, and excited to have some more new members joining us. So just to kick things off, my name is Patrick Hernandez. I am the current Vice President of Projects for YLC, as well as a Power Ties project leader, which I'll get to a little bit more in a minute. I've been with YLC for about 4 years now, and a project leader for 2.5 or 3 of those. I definitely losing track a little bit. I am the co-founder of Ruleys Distilling, a rum distillery here in New Orleans. Before we get into projects, I will turn it over to our VP of Membership, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Patrick. Hey, everyone. My name is Andrew Kohler. I really appreciate you all joining this afternoon. As Patrick said, I am the Vice President of Membership. I'm also a project leader for the Leadership Development Series. I've been with YLC for about 6 years now. And kind of just like a lot of the folks, I think, on the call today, I got my start at a project fair. Albeit it was not virtual, it was very much in person, but it was kind of my initial entry point. So yeah, I very much encourage you to continue on after this project fair. But I also I don't have nearly as cool of an occupation as Patrick. I work at Intralocks, which is a company, business company over in Harahan. But anyway, I would like to jump into the agenda for today. So what we're going to accomplish. So we're going to go through the YLC overview, just kind of give you a feel of what YLC is, a very brief history of it, just to know what you're getting involved in, and then go through 2 different avenues of how you can get involved now, that being projects as well as committees, and we'll explain the concept of both, and then wrap up with a Q&A. So before we begin, I do want to see everyone, if you could put in the chat why you signed up for YLC. You know, what really drove you to either be a member or to sign up? If everyone could just take a moment to list that in the chat. There are no wrong answers, but some are better than others. So I see some get involved in the community, to meet some folks, yeah. Help out locally. Yeah, actually take action to meet new people. So yeah, no, a good bit. So it's folks that really want to give back to the city in some way, but also to meet folks. Because that's a big part of it. New Orleans is a very social city. It's a wonderful avenue to meet people. So yeah, no, all great reasons there. Get back into volunteering, of course. Okay, so then I guess just giving an overview of YLC. The mission for YLC is to develop you as a leader, right? So develop our members as leaders so that not only now when they're in YLC, they can help make an impact on the city and their community, but also even after the fact. So that's the very core of the mission of YLC. We do that through these volunteer-led community projects we're about to hear about. So it is the oldest young professionals organization in the country, having been founded in 1986 here in New Orleans. Just a few others. Yeah, so we currently have 600 members within YLC, and 27 of those are corporate members with their own individual members there. So just to highlight, we have our individual membership, but also we have 27 companies that have also said, yes, this is a wonderful idea. I want my employees to also have a part of and be a part of YLC. So if your company is not one, that could also be a potential partnership there as well. And then finally, YLC is led by the board of directors. There's 24 of us on the board of directors, 2 full-time staff members, and then 4 committees that help run the organization. And then all the different projects that we're about to hear about are led by a really strong group of core project leaders who we'll hear from today as well. So a little bit of a brag slide here, just what YLC has accomplished throughout the decades. Won't go through all of them. A couple to highlight: the bridge that we all know and love, the Crescent City Connection. Well, it had 0 lights before YLC came, and then after YLC, it has lights. And we were able to raise the funds to get the bridge lit up, and it's a wonderful public service there. Proud to call it home, something that I think a lot of us have seen and embraced in some way or the other. That was also a campaign of YLC. Wednesday at the Square is another very visible aspect and something that YLC has certainly taken on and grown. So there's been a lot of large initiatives and accomplishments of YLC throughout the years. And it's done by individuals just like us, just like everyone here on the call, young professionals that are hungry, ready to give back to their community in some way, while also meeting people in the process. So that's kind of my overview of just the YLC as an organization as a whole. And now Patrick, as VP of Projects, is going to kind of take us on a nice tour of all the projects that YLC offers.
Yeah, thanks for that, Andrew. So, you know, as many of you might have seen when you were signing up for this or looking through the YLC website, there are a lot of different ways to get involved, and that's why we wanted to present everything to you here tonight. We're going to go individually through projects, and you're going to hear from project leaders about all of our individuals' opportunities, beginning with Power Ties, which Power Ties is an 8th grade career awareness and preparedness program. We traditionally have gone into 4 New Orleans public schools, and 2 in the fall, 2 in the spring, working exclusively with first line schools. And we really go in to teach the students everything from how to write a resume to how to interview, to then letting them practice through field trip. It's a really fun day that you know, that they're able to use their 4 weeks of learning and really put it to good use. Going forward this year, the program is going to be a little bit different, but by changing up the structure, we actually are going to be able to offer more volunteer opportunities. Before, it really depended on what your availability was in the morning, which was honestly sometimes really hard for people without flexible work schedules. But since we have to go virtual, we're going to have some off-hour opportunities, some things for you to do on your own with a group of your coworkers maybe. So we're really going to mix it up as much as possible to still deliver what these students need right now, which is how to operate virtually. We're working directly with First Line to really change this and tweak it to exactly what the students need. So we're really excited about that. One thing that the changes have afforded us is the schools don't want to start until October, since their own schedules will be much different than in the past. So that leaves us a little bit more time for planning, which we're very thankful for. We're having monthly planning meetings, and the next one is going to be on July 29th. So also, I'm going to drop in the chat right now a Google form link that you'll be able to use throughout this presentation. You can sign up to get on the listservs of any of the projects we talk about. Submit this now, submit at the end. You should have also received it via email last night. So that's just a really easy way to express your interest for any of the projects that you see. And we'll take questions at the end as well. So before I hand it over to our next project, YLC Recycles, I just want to once again utilize that chat feature and maybe everyone share what their favorite way to recycle around New Orleans is, or what you think you would like to see more of. I know it. I definitely know what I would love to see more of. Yes. Yeah, so definitely, you know, glass recycling is an issue. Jillian can touch on or maybe share some of that of the new opportunities, or another one of our YLC project leaders, just for as a small tidbit, but I'll let her get on with her spiel.
Thank you, Patrick. I'm Jillian Welsh. I am a YLC Recycles project leader. I've been with YLC for coming up on a year now. And I am a volunteer coordinator for Greenlight New Orleans, which is a small environmental nonprofit. And I actually discovered them through volunteering with YLC Assists. And then I mentioned to my other project leaders, hey, I really would love to work for that company. And then one of them ran into the director, and now I'm working there, all because of YLC. So I really love YLC and the friendships I've also created, and I'm not from here, so it was really nice to have these connections and these friends. So YLC Recycles, we, like it says here, we're trying to make New Orleans greener and cleaner. In the past, we've helped do a lot of recycling with events. So last year we did Beignet Fest, 610 Stompers, Bar Crawl. We also did a lot of recycling with Mardi Gras. We did for the smaller parades on-site recycling. And then we did for the first time ever on-float recycling with Cleopatra. But we also really focused on personal accountability with everyone going to the parades, and how can everyone going to the parades really be more aware of being more sustainable and make it, not adding to the 6 tons of trash that comes out of Mardi Gras. And so that's really been kind of one of our shifts. Even before the pandemic, we didn't want to just offer free recycling at events. We wanted to help events get the recycling that they needed, get the assistance, and get some policies in place to continue being a sustainable event moving forward. And that's what we're continuing doing during the pandemic. We're meeting virtually. We have a meeting coming up on July 20th. We'd love everyone to come. We also, coming up starting July 17th, we're doing a community pledge event where we're just asking everyone in the community to come up with a pledge, whether that be riding your bike to work more, cleaning out catch basins, making a financial donation to an environmental organization. So we're really kind of going with more of an educational and push for personal accountability. And also with policy change. We worked with Watts this year to help them make their event a little bit more sustainable by switching from single-use cups to a little cute novelty cup that they could get refilled. And then also working with their vendors to sign a pledge that they themselves would also be sustainable by not doing plastic bags, not doing straws, trying to offer finger foods instead of things that need plastic forks and knives. So so you can kind of just jump into one of our meetings and meet us. You can also just jump into any of our volunteer. We do have, in September, we're gonna work with the city and participate and get volunteers to help with their hazardous waste collection at their site. And so, and you can just come to that, low commitment, but we would really love to get some more ideas. And the great thing I love about YLC Recycles is if you have an idea, we support you and we want to go for it. If you think, oh, I want to plan a catch basin cleanup, awesome, let's plan it. So it's kind of open like that. So we're a friendly bunch, so come join us, and thank you.
Thanks, Julia. Next, we'll go over to Christian with YLC Assists.
You're on mute, Christian. Got him.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all. Thank you so much. So, YLC Assists is really geared towards quintessential community service. So, when I say that phrase, it's kind of what comes to top of mind. So, we volunteer once a month, typically on Saturday mornings, for 3 to 4 hours, and afterwards we grab, lunch and drinks thereafter. And organizations that we partner with, once again, it's kind of quintessential community service. So 1 month we might partner with Habitat for Humanity with the home build. Next month we'll be with Second Harvest Food Bank, sorting and disseminating goods to those in need. Maybe we've done in the past also some with Coalition Restore Coastal Louisiana for an oyster shell reforestation, if you will. And then Jillian just mentioned one that we had in 2019, actually with the company she is with Greenlight in New Orleans. So pretty diverse and pretty open to really any need in New Orleans that needs lending hands, which is a pretty easy ask from our end. We always receive pretty receptive response there. And yeah, typically it's group volunteer work, and you do not have to be a YLC member to volunteer with us. Of course, we would encourage you to do so. But it's really just first come, first serve. The first, typically our volunteer groups range from 15 to 25 people. And just whoever can sign up first, and we look forward to having you at our event. Of course, I just mentioned that we are typically 15 to 25 people, which is not really what we're able to do right now, having group volunteer work with current coronavirus limitations, state and municipal limitations imposed. So we've been providing a lot of individual signups for our volunteers, throughout these past 4 or 5 months. And we are getting back to not a full-fledged volunteer work, but less than 10 person capacity. So we're still able to provide our members with volunteer opportunities. Some on the horizon that you can see here. We have 2 with Boy Soap, Girl Soap. They're duplicate events. Boy Soap, Girl Soap is, they were actually our March partnership. And then, of course, coronavirus occurred, so we had to kind of delay our outreach there. And they have since reached back out to us and needed assistance with their gala, their largest annual fundraiser that they host. And they're doing a revised gala in which they're going to deliver a kind of like a care package and also a multi-course meal from Galatoire's, or I guess a gift package in conjunction with that to some of their donors. And so we're going to be helping Boy Soap, Girl Soap in the delivery of these packages and of these multi-course meals. And that'll be the evening of July 11th, and then part 2, July 25th. And you're eligible to sign up for one of those events or both. The volunteer shift will last from about 5 till 7 p.m. And then stretching out to next month in August, we're volunteering with Eden House, which they house females that have been sexually abused and just need kind of a safe haven to help continue to raise their family until they're on stable ground. So they need help with exterior maintenance work, gardening, weeding, so on and so forth. So we still have plenty of spots for all 3 of those opportunities. And if YLC Assists is something that you're interested in, of course, you can just reach out in the chat and we can add you to our email list. Once again, first come, first serve, that you can sign up for.
Great. Thanks so much, Christian. And on that Boys Hope, Girls Hope, I know you said it's about 5 to 7, but it's they're responsible for one group of deliveries and then they're done, right? So 4 deliveries around the same part of town, and then that's it. So definitely
Correct.
It seems like a really great opportunity that wouldn't be terrible to do twice.
Mm-hmm.
Great, thanks so much. Before we go on to our next project, which has to do with bike racks and biking, we're going to go back to the chat section or chat function, and I want to ask everyone to maybe throw out one of their favorite places around town that they think could have better bike parking. Christian said Bonton. Alicia's apartment building.
I like that Christian abbreviates Bonton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you know he's a regular.
When you're a regular, that's what you do.
Yeah, LBTR.
Ashley, is that just all of Jackson?
So Jackson has bike lanes from St. Charles to Tchoupitoulas. And so does Louisiana, but they don't extend them through Central City to Claiborne, where there's still substantially quite a few bikers that live there.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really great suggestions.
Supermarkets, that's a good one.
Yeah. So we are going to go to Where You're At next. So Where You're At is a long-running YLC project that installs the iconic green fleur-de-lis bike racks that you've probably seen around town. Whether they're the individual racks that hold 2 bikes or bigger corrals like you might have seen outside of Blue Oak Barbecue. Where You're At has really filled the city with plenty of opportunities to park your bikes, encourage more biking, and really just more sustainability all around because of it. We're really excited to continue installing these around town, even though it is becoming a bit saturated. As you've all pointed out, there are plenty of more places that can use some bike racks. So for this one, the next opportunity is going to be a Saturday in July. There are only a few left. We're not exactly sure which one it's going to be yet, but these are always small volunteer days. Right now we're running at groups no larger than 3. So if you are interested, make sure to express that early on so that you can get a spot. And the way that Where You're At works is after a company reaches out with a sponsorship, a group of volunteers is going to go and install that with that company's chosen branding on the rack. So if you know of any companies or the ones that you have put in the chat that you think could really use some bike racks, tell them Where You're At can handle everything for them for just a small fee. But obviously, if you want to volunteer, just mark that checkbox in the Google form that we put in the chat earlier as well. So next over to Andrew for LDFs.
Thank you, Patrick. So the Leadership Development Series is unique in that you have to be a member to apply for, to be a part of it. And it's also application based. So we asked folks to apply for this. We capped it at about 20 individuals, and it's a 10-week series that will expose you to a lot of different aspects of nonprofit work, of being involved in a nonprofit, leading a nonprofit, being on a board of directors, but also just in general exposing you to leaders throughout the community. So every week, a new leader in the community that represents a particular area will come and teach on a topic that they are subject matter expert on. Throughout that 10 weeks as well, you will come together into small individual groups and actually pick an issue that you see or need that you see being unaddressed in the city and work together to kind of cultivate a project to meet that need. So it's a very, kind of hands-on, it's like a learning as you go type thing as well. And so, yeah, we ask folks to apply for it. The applications are open, so you are joining just at the right time. It is a month-long application period from July 1st through July 31st. After that, we'll cut it off. We'll review all the applications, and then the class itself will start, as we see here, in September 22nd. Of course, it'll all be done virtually. Another reason why we try and cap it, just so that we're able to kind of manage all the interactions there. And yeah, it's an absolutely wonderful way for you to grow as an individual and as a leader while also giving back to the community. And something that Patrick brought up in the previous project fair, that there's a lot of kind of leaders within YLC that have come out of the Leadership Development Series. So a lot of the project leaders that are meeting with us today, a lot of folks that are on the board of directors, committee members have all kind of gone through this. So it's a wonderful opportunity. I encourage you to check it out and ask questions during the Q&A portion if you have any.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks.
Before we go to our last project that we're going to present tonight, we're going to go back to that chat feature one more time. And who on here thinks that they can improve their public speaking skills? I know I for sure can. Yeah, so yes, yeah, really, really great point, Andrew. In-person and virtual public speaking are two separate skill sets for sure. Yeah, so with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Toastmasters.
Depends on the subject. I like that. Hi, my name is Esteban. I actually am the VP of, I think it's called communications or PR. I'm not too sure. It's the same thing. Really, Toastmasters, every time that I tell somebody that I am in Toastmasters, they kind of picture their uncle trying to bumble their way through an actual toast at somebody's wedding or something like that. This is a little bit different of a club. We want to help you as a young professional improve your public speaking. And the setup of our club is a little bit different than most clubs as well. The schedule in 2020 will be made up of 5 6-week sessions. So 6 weeks and on and 4 weeks off. That makes it much more digestible for the people that that participate and decide to participate, and you don't have to commit to that decision. It is a very low barrier to entry kind of engagement with YLC. Now, participants in each session are just welcome to pop in and out, but if you want to do the challenge, which is what we call them, you will try to complete 2 speeches and give 1 peer evaluation. And that means that somebody will give a speech and you will tell them what they did well, what they could have improved in, etc. After the completion of each session, you can, of course, move on to the next level and working in better things. The very basic level things are just, not fidgeting, having a little bit of eye contact with your audience in the case of virtual meetings, which I am sure you've had a bunch of, everybody. Being able to put forth your presence and not be entirely distracted by, trying to open a document, et cetera, et cetera. All of those things are going to be leveraged in there, and you can, as I said, keep on moving forward. The next challenge is going to be August 4th. It'll be running up until September 8th. We meet from 6 to 7:30. And like I said, if you feel like it might be your cup of tea or not, you can actually just come on over and, virtually, but you can just come into one of the sessions and see how things go. You can try out a couple of the unscripted speeches that are just 2 minutes. It's just answering some random questions. And I think it really helps. And it especially has helped in having to, put together so many virtual meetings, webinars, et cetera, et cetera.
Awesome, thanks. And one thing to point out with Toastmasters, although you are welcome to join to get a little taste of it for a session or 2, if you do want to complete the challenges, that is a YLC membership required project. Same thing with LDS. Those are the only 2 that require membership, though. Other projects are free to volunteer without actually joining, although we obviously encourage membership. All right, so that wraps up our projects. I'll let Andrew quickly go through our committees before we get to the Q&A.
Yep, thanks, Patrick. We do very much encourage membership sign up. I'm obligated to say that as the VP of membership, the membership committee. We will get to that in a moment. So in addition to the projects that we just went through, there are also other kind of, I guess, more strategic or organization directional work that can be done. And that's done through these committees. So we have here listed the 3 committees that you can get involved in. Going through these, first, the development committee. If you've ever been interested in fundraising, or if you think you're gifted at it, or something that you would like to grow that skill set, the development committee is certainly for you. They help perform a lot of the fundraising events and strategy for the organization. Moving on, similar mindset with the communications committee. They help execute a lot of the communications strategy that's developed, whether that is sending out press releases, trying to work with projects to kind of craft some sort of campaign to get folks more involved in their particular outlet. That's for the communications committee. And then finally is the membership committee, which is really tasked with providing a lot of the programming for our members. So whether it is any sort of like the leadership type events that we offer by putting you in touch with individuals like the Sewage and Water Board Executive Director, for example, just to hear those type of leadership musings by that individual. That's really what the membership committee is charged with, keeping the members engaged, making it so that it's attractive for new members to get involved, and also recruiting corporate members as well. So again, just three other avenues for you to get involved with YLC. Yeah, so at this point, I think we're ready to open up for questions. I know we went through quite a bit, but we wanted to leave enough time to ask questions either specifically about a project or about committees or YLC in general. So maybe let's start with any questions about YLC in general here.
So Jillian, how does a business qualify for a RAC? Do they need a certain amount of space on a sidewalk or anything like that? So there are a few different ways to go about getting a rack installed, and it's going to depend on whether it's on a public right-of-way or on private property. All of that information can be found on whereyourrack.org with a lot more specifics about what kind of space is required. But our project does take care of all of the permitting if it is on a public right-of-way. They deal with everything with the city and just pass along that small fee directly from One Stop Shop.
Yeah, and then it looks like also part 2 of Jillian's question. How can you join a committee, or do you attend a meeting? Do you need to apply? You simply need to email the relevant committee chair. So again, that is on the website as well. And you could email that individual and say that you're interested. The committees meet monthly for the most part, either every month or every month. And so it would just be as simple as kind of emailing them, letting them know you're interested. They'll probably want to meet with you maybe one-on-one just to make sure that it's a good partnership for you. And then assuming that you're still interested, then attend the next meeting and help kind of lead the strategy and direction of YLC. Thanks. Any other questions about, specific project? And Patrick, I think you have maybe a list of the projects too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, the projects, they very much range from a very light lift like YLC Assists to kind of a more intensive involvement like the Leadership Development Series, which is a 10-week commitment. So you really have a variety of options to get involved. It really is what suits you. And of course, you could start with something very light like I did. I attended a couple power ties where I helped write resumes after work, no involvement with children. And then 6 years later, you find yourself on the board of directors of the organization. So you can really take it as far as you would like.
Yeah, and that's like Andrew said, that's really one of the great things is, within every project, there are plenty of ways to get involved. And a lot of times, even if you are unavailable to go to their regular volunteer days, all projects can always use help on the back end. If you have a specific skill set, just find a project that aligns with some interests you may have, or connect with us. Our emails are on the website of the committees, and we can make sure that you are you get put in touch with whichever part of the organization can use that skill set at the moment. And then just to finish on that, any other questions about committees?
These guys are aggressively waving their litter pickup sticks. If anyone's looking at this picture, the last one had Lee Zurich as well, who is a staple with the leadership development series of local news fame.
Yeah, so we have a question from Stephen. Is there an ongoing list of projects as far as how to start new projects? So Stephen, right now, these 6 are the ones that are up and running. That said, they're not. We're not saying that we won't ever open up the opportunity for new projects. We just don't currently have a submission form. But I would definitely keep an eye out if you want to discuss an option with us. We're happy to hear it, provide feedback. One thing that we do try to do with all of our projects is make sure that they are mission aligned. And at the end of the day, we're focused on building leaders through community service. So we're going to do that through 3 specific pillars, which are youth development, sustainability, and leadership development. But the ultimate goal is to develop all of you and all of us as leaders.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, Patrick, the leadership development series this year is offering kind of that think tank, if you will, that if you do see a real unmet need, Stephen, that you could kind of meet with a few like-minded individuals and potentially develop that project. It's not to say that it's going to be an ongoing project within YLC, but it'll certainly be one that we would form up and then potentially execute if that's sort of like the winning project of the 10-week series. So just one other avenue to consider.
All right. Yes, thank you, Ashley. So that link will get you to all of our committees. My email is going to be on there as well. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions about any of the projects, or or Stephen, if you are interested in learning or discussing any project ideas, whether or not we can take it on right now. Always happy to talk. So I'm going to put one more time in the chat that Google form that you can use to express interest in any or all of the projects that you saw today. We're going to get those all of that information to the relevant projects, and then you'll be able to hear from them whenever they have an opportunity coming up next. Julian says, I love all the friends and connections I've made through YLC. Definitely wouldn't have met any of you otherwise. Thank you. I feel the same way, Julian. It's been a really great organization, getting to know people. I joined whenever I moved back to Louisiana from New York and didn't really know anyone in the city. It's been a really great opportunity. So I'm really excited to see some fresh new faces on the call tonight, and hope to see you at a YLC event soon.
Oh, perfect lead in, Patrick. That is excellent. So the next YLC event, you're wondering, is virtual, of course. However, it is next Tuesday from 11:30 to 12:30 at lunchtime. So you can join right in the middle of lunch. It's absolutely perfect. It'll be Ghassan Corbin, who I alluded to earlier, who is the executive director of the Sewage and Water Board, has done a fantastic job of turning around the culture at the Sewage and Water Board, and has a lot of great insights into kind of his leadership style. He's a very transparent individual. I know that you'll really enjoy hearing him speak. So that is the next YLC event this Tuesday coming up at 11:30 to 12:30 on this Zoom account. So go on the website and sign up on that one. I have no doubt Ashley has put in, yes, the link is already in the chat.
Yeah, just to echo Jillian and Andrew and Esteban, he really is a great speaker, and like Andrew said, very open. It's really refreshing to hear him speak. I'm really excited for the event.
Yeah. So now we can end, Patrick. Thank you for
All right. All right. Well, thanks again to everyone, and y'all have a great night.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, guys.